Hey there, this is Janine Bolin with the Writer's Hour and Creative Conversations. And today I wanted to review a book that's been around for a while. It's called Ask and It Is Given by Ester and Jerry Hicks, and it came out in 2004. And this book has been one of those things. Have you ever had one of those books that was just so instrumental in helping you with life, the universe, and everything that you just go back to it over and over again? This is my copy that I bought years ago. It's tabbed. I've got notes in it. It's very well loved book, very well read. What I wanted to talk about was the way that this book has been repackaged by the creator, Ester Hicks, and the teachings of Abraham. And they're kind of talking about this 30-day focus. And as I saw this come through their newsletter and stuff, I wanted to give a shout out to the process that they're talking about. I recommend that you buy this book, and then I'm going to chat with you about the 4 processes that are listed in 22 processes. So this isn't just a how-to book in the sense of, it gives you processes that you can use. It gives you a multitude of different types of processes that you can use to help you get into a better feeling place. That's the whole point of this book, is basically that where you want to go in life is there for the asking, but you have to kind of feel your way through life, and instead of thinking yourself through life. Now, this kind of came as a shock to me when it came to analytical biochemistry. I'm a scientist, right? And so I'm used to thinking through with goals and targets and deadlines and all that kind of stuff. And so it was really neat to then read a book that was about this. Anyway, what are the main processes? They said for the next 30 days, whenever you get the book, for the next 30 days, focus on these 4 processes, and they will help you move through whatever you need to move through, such as moving into a better space with you regarding your life. So meditation, segment intending, book of positive aspects, and the focus wheel exercise. So meditation, that's process number 6. You can find it on page 183 of the 2004 edition. And what they talk about is if you begin every day with a little bit of meditation, it will stop the internal chatter. It will stop that mental chatter. And they want you to just sit comfortably for about no more than 20 minutes. They were kind of adamant, no more than 20 minutes. And I have a 3-minute meditation process that I run my students and clients through, but they were talking about this process is the same. It's just don't go beyond about 20 minutes, because what is the point of all this? You're just wanting to calm down so that you can get the impulse for action. So they say, you know what you want to do, you know where you want to go with your life. So instead of trying to think your way through all the things that you're supposed to do step by step by step, they recommend that you meditate. And after you meditate, you'll get an impulse to action, do that action, and then do the next action and do the next action. It's kind of a different way of living for so many of us that have been trained along the goal setting and target acquisition sort of mindsets, right? So meditation, that's the first one. The second one is segment intending. And this is process 11. You get this on page 217. Segment intending is more about as you move through your day, you realize that you're moving into new segments. So like you could be sitting in your office or sitting on a Zoom meeting, and somebody new comes into the Zoom meeting or someone comes into your office, and then you realize that's a new segment of your day. And it's a way of kind of pre-paving your day through setting up how you wish to interact with this person no matter what happens. It's a way of calming down what would be knee-jerk reactions and responses. And so I recommend that's a fabulous one. It's basically be deliberate in your vibratory emanations is what they were saying. And I just realized I spelled deliberate wrong in the second one. Be deliberate in your thinking. Like prepare, prepave, notice where you are. So like they say, if something happens and you get triggered and all of a sudden you're in a really bad emotional or mental space, like you're remembering a trauma or you're freaking out because you think that if this conversation continues, that it's going to go to a bad place. They're like, stop, breathe, and then connect with where you are and start looking at all the positive things. And it may be something as simple as looking at a card that's on a mantelpiece where somebody has sent you a card, and it makes you think of that person and it calms you down, and the other person is doing whatever the other person is. The point is with segment intending that you feel as the best you can with each moment of your day, realizing that you're not always going to be in your best space, but that is the goal and the intent. So segment intending is about pre-paving your life in that way. The next one is process number 8, book of positive aspects. That's on page 199. This is where you go about, like at the very beginning of your day, where you sit down and you ask yourself 3 questions. And while you're asking these 3 questions, you're thinking of a certain person or a certain situation that brings you great joy. And then you move into eventually the people that are a little bit more challenging in your life. And this is something where you spend about 5 to 10 minutes a day doing. So the Book of Positive Aspects has sometimes been mistaken as a gratitude journal. It's not. It's actually trying to prepave and intend and create something more positive in what you're experiencing. It sets your tone for the day. It sets your attraction for the day. Basically, you're working on positive momentum, and it's establishing that before you ever start interacting with another human being. Now, if you're like me, you're a mom of 4 kids, you got little ones, you may not be able to have this all happen before the little one comes in and starts demanding that it be fed or whatever. But basically, just do this when you can. So that's process number 3. The focus wheel process is process number 17. You can find that on page 257 of this edition. And what this one does is it raises your point of attraction. So we all can't be 100% perky positive, right? Not only is that annoying for a lot of people, but frankly, we just aren't that. We're human beings. We have this emotional roller coaster that we're on. And so the point is we're just trying to calm some of the wave function down. We're just trying to make the waves not quite so high, the high's not quite so high, the low's not so low. We're not trying to get you monotone, but we're just trying to give you a bit more stability with your emotional state with this book. So it's like, raise your point of attraction. What you're doing is you're reaching for a feeling that will bring you a sense of relief. So you want to feel better about a person or a place, you will use the focus wheel process. And so those are the 4 processes that if you work on over a 30-day period, it will help you move from wherever you are into a more positive state in a very easy to understand, easy, gentle way. So I highly recommend that you get yourself your own copy of Ask and It's Given. It's a wonderful book. I have taught classes on this book. And so I'm going to mention some of the answers that I get frequently from students after we do our 6 weeks on this book. And one of the things is I recommend that you go on some sort of a media fast. If you find that you're doing more emotions lower than higher, like you find yourself consistently like feeling like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders, might I recommend that you step back a little bit from Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever it is that you're spending a lot of time on. Change your focus to things that are more positive oriented. Do you have favorite books you like reading because they make you feel better? Are there certain things you enjoy reading about? Because sometimes you're getting so much inspiration and input and influence from areas that don't bring you into a good positive feeling space. So you need to pivot your focus. The second one is begin creating your thing. This is the perfect time in your life to learn to sing, dance, create music of some time, sculpt, paint, draw, refurbish that piece of furniture, renew the look of your living room, rework your bedroom space so that you're happier with it. Create whatever your thing is, whatever you've always wanted to do, this is your time to do it. So 2 things came to my mind when I first started taking my own advice, and that was I started drawing again. So I actually have a couple of little pieces of artwork that I'm starting to work on and start, doing some illustration that I've never done before, finding that it really brings me a sense of peace. It brings me a sense of stability in kind of a chaotic world. The other thing is I've always wanted to learn to play a musical instrument. I used to play the violin, but kind of fell out of that. And now I'm learning how to play the penny whistle. Now, currently it sounds like a wounded duck or something like that. But the thing is I'm practicing on playing, and it brings me yet again a sense of stability. And I may only play it for 5 or 10 minutes a day. It's not like I'm, really digging in deep to become the world's best penny whistle player, but it's just, start doing your thing. What is your thing? And if you've always wanted to sing, but people never gave you the support you needed or whatever, get rid of all those excuses. Just start doing it. Even if you're just singing happy birthday to those friends of yours that have birthdays. The third one comes from, did I tell you I was a recovering Catholic? Create your own happiness. This comes from Mother Teresa, believe it or not. That's where I first learned it when I was quite young. She was like, I can remember her having in some of her videos, mind your own business. She'd shake her finger at her nuns. She'd be like, mind your own business. And what that means is whatever anybody else is doing, Don't worry about it. You don't have control over it. I mean, you can try to control the people that live with you. You can try to exert influence and control, and you can set up emotional blackmail systems and coping techniques. And there's all kinds of people that are much better at speaking about that than I am on the psychology of it. But really, it comes down to if somebody is doing something and you don't know them, it really is none of your business, right? Basically, what minding your own business means is stay in tune with what brings you happy, what brings you your happy, what brings you your relief. And even if happiness is too high up on the emotional scale, just move into commitment, contentment, try to get a sense of relief. So basically, Mother Teresa is just trying to remind us, look, you can't control the world, folks, but you can control yourself. And this is one of those ways of doing it. So those are the 3 questions that frequently came up after we would finish this book. If you have any more questions, feel free to go to Abraham-Hicks.com. That's where you can get more information, resources, videos, hundreds of books and stuff on the processes that Esther and Jerry Hicks started back in the 80s, I believe. And if you want, you can pop by my website at the8gates.com courses. And if you type in the courses, then you'll see the 15 different courses that I offer people. But for the most part, highly recommend you buy the book. It's a great book. It will help you move into more positive spaces, even if all of those people around you are not. You can actually create an environment for yourself that will be more of one that thrives instead of just surviving. All right, it's Janine Bolin with the Writers Hour, Creative Conversations, doing a book review on Ask and It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks, The Teachings of Abraham. Have a great day.